very good afternoon to you and welcome to Drive. I'm John Pienaar and I'm broadcasting to you live this afternoon from Poland at the Ukrainian border crossing at Medica. It is good to have your company, and if you've been with me here through the day and all week, I'm guessing that you might, like me, be experiencing the same mixture of horror and wonderment. Horror at reports of the Russian bombardment of innocent civilians over the border. The bombing, say, of a theatre sheltering innocents, including children, in Mariupol. The kind of outrage that's led US President Joe Biden to label the Russian leader, Vladimir Putin, a war criminal. I'll be getting you up to date with the conduct of the war and looking too into the mind of Putin, or trying to. And horror at how the authorities and the volunteers in this tented encampment of helpers and charities on this border, police and volunteers are having to organise tighter checks and security against the risk of people traffickers, child traffickers, abducting Ukrainian victims moments after they arrive here in Poland. I will have more for you on that too. And there's wonderment, sheer wonderment at the constant show of human decency and kindness all around me here. The volunteers from around the world here in Medica and elsewhere who are doing all that they can, anything they can, to help. In a moment, you'll be hearing about my visit to a 70-year-old woman who lives alone in a suburb of Rzeszów and how she's opened her life and her home to a family of Ukrainians and their children. And a little later on today's show, we can catch up with the arrival of Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe, who's home with her friends and her family in the UK after being held in detention for 6 years by Iran. And at home in the UK, 800 staff are being made redundant at P&O ferries with immediate effect. And we'll get the latest from Dover as the ships stop sailing. First, let me introduce two volunteers working here by the Poland-Ukraine border in one of the many, many tents and stands along what they call here the Yellow Brick Road for refugees, serving food and drink, a bed for the night where it's needed, and just a little good humour. Welcome, Rob, who's with me here, former police officer, retired 3 years ago. Rob, hi, good to see you.
Yeah, hi.
And welcome to Jack from Utah. Good to see you, Jack.
Thank you very much.
You are an American, a tattoo artist. I can see some of your work on your hands, peeping out from the heavy wool that you're wearing to keep the cold away. Let me ask you this. I say welcome to you. I'm your guests here, so I should be thanking you for welcoming us and the listeners to this programme. But let me start with you, Rob. Basic, fundamental, mundane question. How's your day been?
It's tough. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm doing what I'm doing to support these people as they cross into Poland. But it is a tough day, both physically and mentally, really, because you see this stream of women and children or elderly gentlemen, and they're moving down what you call the Yellow Brick Road with very little.
Yeah.
Very little. So all we can do is have a smile on our faces, offer them some support. Yeah, we're making soup and pizzas and pasta and all sorts, and that's all we can do, and try and make them feel as welcome as we can.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching them all day down the road behind us in this tent. That constant rumble of the wheels on the trolley suitcases, the children in their mothers' arms, the children clutching their big soft toys. It tears your heart out. But when you see the reaction of those families to the help that they're getting here, that while your heart is aching, it's also warming up.
It definitely is. All the way down to the simple thing of a little kid getting some chocolate to take his mind off of the long road they've been on and the journey and whatever they've already been through, and they can be a kid for that second again and not have to worry about it.
Yeah. And it's going to get worse in a way, isn't it? Because the intensity of the fighting across the border, that is growing. The viciousness of the Russian assault is growing too. I mentioned the attack, the bombing of the theatre in Mariupol, which housed a huge number of civilians. We don't yet know how many casualties there, but until this ends, it looks as if that's going to get worse, which means more of the rumble of those suitcase wheels down the Yellow Brick, more children in their mother's arm, more work and more heartache for you guys.
Yeah, but I think it doesn't matter how long, like, Jack stays or I stay. There's always new people arriving to say, "Can I help now?
Yeah.
Can I be part of this?"
Yeah.
And they're always welcomed.
Yeah.
There is a constant stream of people seeing this unfold on on TV, whatever country they're from, and they're making their way to places like this, to all the border crossings.
That is really striking, isn't it? When you look around you, you walk up and down the yellow brick road here through the encampment. You go, a couple of hours ago to the refugee centre. You go to the station where they're coming in from Lviv in western Ukraine, and you see the helpers, and you see an extraordinary variety of people from all walks of life, Jack, and all of the countries of the world who've just decided to throw everything up just for a while and come here.
You really do. Every single person I've met literally is from a different place, a different country, a different state, a different background, different ages. Whoever it struck and they felt compelled to come, they came. I just was lucky enough to be in a fortunate position that I have a big client base of friends that supported me in this and have been funding it, sending money, donations nonstop that are providing the food that's actually going to everybody.
You're going to be doing a few free tattoos when you get home, aren't you?
Oh, guaranteed. They're going to, yeah.
And you're a police officer.
Well, I'm a retired police officer, retired 3 years ago. My wife's a teacher, and my daughter literally started university. This is her first year. And so the opportunity for me is a lot easier than it is for many people, because I have a pension. Yeah. My bills are paid for even before I get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, and you've led a career of duty as part of the police force. But here you are. How long have you been here again?
Well, Friday. I came to Poland.
You mean to stay here for a little while?
Yes, I'm allowed 90 days.
90 days.
And I've said if I can physically cope with it, because it is hard work, I will give my 90 days. I will stay here. As long as I can.
Yeah, and your wife completely understands that.
She didn't at first.
Okay.
She was a bit anxious, and I had to make some promises to her, like, I'm not going to go across into Ukraine and do anything silly. Yeah. But I've FaceTimed her a few times, and I've shown her what I'm doing, and I've shown her what's going on here, and she loves it. And my daughter's expecting me to do the same with her tonight, and just to make her feel good about it as well.
Okay, Rob and Jack, it's so good to talk to you. Thank you for keeping us company just for a moment and letting us use this tent here on the yellow brick road, which we're going to be in just for a couple of hours more, while we share the stories that we've all got to tell here with the people listening.
That's been an absolute pleasure.
And we appreciate you sending word out to everybody about what's going on.
So good of you to talk to us. I know you've got an awful lot to do. Now, as